God has the desire and the capacity to save the entire human family. Until the restored gospel, we have been living in a very cramped heaven, or the idea that heaven is going to be cramped with very, very few people in that space. What has been lost to Christianity, I think in general, is the fact that we are all children of divine parents. We are all part of the divine family, and that the Godhead has the desire and the capacity to bring us all home. We express this. I'm not sure if all of us recognize how important the sealings we do are that are performed in the temple, but we are actually sealing families together, all human families. It really doesn't matter the religious denomination. Our job is to seal the entire human family together, and therefore seal the family to Christ. So this is essential, and I think it is one of the rocks on which our religious tradition is founded.
Many years ago here in the United States, a bit of a scandal, a furore erupted in the press because it was revealed to the public that the Latter-day Saints were baptizing not just deceased people, but in some cases Jews who had been victims of the Holocaust. Now that's contrary to church policy, but it happened in error a few times. So I was asked to be a guest on a radio station, a Philadelphia radio station, where they wanted to discuss this so-called scandal and ask for the Latter-day Saint background to this practice. So I didn't know at the time that my host was going to be Jewish, but he was. And his very first question out of the gate was, "What are you doing baptizing my dead ancestors?" What I said was, we Latter-day Saints believe that at the last day, our Heavenly Father plans a wedding feast for the entire human family, and he wants every son and daughter present. And we don't think you have to attend, but we think everybody should be invited. And that's what we're doing when we baptize for the dead. And he said, "What an incredibly beautiful idea. How do I get my name on that list?" Now, I think as a Jewish non-member of the church, he was doubtless half teasing, but I think there was also a substantial amount of recognition in his words that this did represent one of the most generous and expansive conceptions of salvation anywhere in the Christian past.
So Joseph says, "We think this is the first photograph of him coming up. God hath made a provision that every spirit in the eternal world can be ferreted out and saved." And this was probably in light of his relationship to Alvin. His oldest brother died tragically, a horrible death, and Joseph never recovered from it. Alvin, of course, died unbaptized and uncatechized, so he was in hell. And but Joseph knew that could not possibly. He knew his brother, and he knew what a beautiful man, what a beautiful soul he had. So in section 76, when he recognizes that the noble spirits of men will be found to be in the terrestrial kingdom, he's out of hell. Alvin's not in hell anymore, so he rejoices. Then in section 137, Alvin is in the celestial kingdom. He has moved from the terrestrial kingdom to the celestial kingdom. And for Joseph, this was just an incredible moment in his life. He was completely dumbfounded by it. Elder Robert D. Hales has encouraged those of us who are parents never to shut the door of our heart to any of our children. Well, if he's talking to mortal parents, can we ever imagine heavenly parents ever, under any condition, close the doors of their hearts to us? Elder Boyd K. Packer, some of you may know him if you're about our age. Younger ones won't know him, but he was not known as the warm fuzzy on the quorum. And he said this: "There is no habit, no addiction, no rebellion, no transgression, no apostasy, no crime exempted from the promise of complete forgiveness." So Elder Uchtdorf says that day of judgment will be a day of mercy and love, a day when broken hearts are healed, when tears of grief are replaced with tears of gratitude, when all will be made right. Brothers and sisters, we are members of a church that has the most expansive, most inclusive idea of restoration to each other. We are motivated by this concept that we are here. In fact, Joseph said that our primary purpose is to build Zion. And I would suggest that this is not a Zion limited to the church, that we are invited to help in creating a global Zion, to which Christ will come, and among those and among us all, he will live.
Annotated and summarized, easy to share with loved ones. The description below the title for this video has these summary points.